For you motoring enthusiasts out there, this is how you probably remember Subaru. So yeah, it's pretty clear that Subaru is known for performance, and they're really good at it. But on the other side of the Subaru coin, they also make cars for the everyday person. And one of their best sellers is this one, the Subaru Forester. And what we got here is the GT Edition. So what does the Forester GT Edition come with? Well, compared to the regular Forester, it comes with this nice front lip extension. It gives this nice lower stance. In terms of looks, some would think that it might make the angle of approach different, but based on our testing, not much difference or none at all. If you're worried about this one making the Forester lose its off-road capability, I wouldn't think so. And then if you look here, it also has bespoke wheels. Really nice. It's more, I wouldn't say aggressive, but it looks more stylish. That's the best way to put it. And like a nice GT Edition touch, it says GT here in the hubcap. So another thing you get in the GT Edition is this side skirt over here. Just like the front lip, this doesn't seem to lessen the off-road capability of the car. And then you also get this nice rear spoiler. I think this in the body kit, this is probably one of my favorites. So when you're getting the GT Edition, it's safe to say it looks more stylish, but no capabilities lost. The design of the GT Edition was actually made by Masahiko Kobayashi. He was the former chief designer of Subaru. He actually designed a lot of their cars. Let me get the list of what Masahiko Kobayashi designed. So Masahiko Kobayashi designed the WRX, the WRX STI, the first generation XV, and of course my favorite, the Levorg. Masahiko Kobayashi, if you're watching this, I want to say thank you for designing the Levorg. Beautiful car. Okay, now back to this car. So some will say that this one looks like the previous generation, and rightfully so. But you know, when you have them side by side, or when you take a closer look at this, then you start to realize that this one has a lot more changes than you think. But the overall design, I'm glad that they kept it because I really love the iconic shape of the Forester. Design-wise, it's like the quintessential shape of how compact SUV should be. So, the 4 key features of the Subaru Forester that make it different from other compact SUVs are its boxer engine, its symmetrical all-wheel drive, the Subaru Global Platform, and the Subaru EyeSight. So these 4 things are a bit technical and I'll breeze through them, but it's good to know them because what they do for the car makes it speak volumes and makes it stand out from the competition. Let's start off with the boxer engine. The orientation of most engines are vertical, meaning that they're tall engines so that they minimize size on width and length. Subaru, on the other hand, instead of a vertical orientation, they actually orient their engines horizontally. And like the boxer engine is basically how the ignition's fired. That's a bit too technical. But going back, what this allows them is that since there's less vertical height, they're allowed to position the engine lower than most vehicles. What that allows is to have a bigger driver's point of view. So now it has a bigger windshield because the engine's lower, the hood's lower. Secondly, since the positioning of the engine is lower, it also lowers the center of gravity, giving a better driving experience. Second, the symmetrical all-wheel drive. So in this category, most if not all have all-wheel drive system. But what makes symmetrical all-wheel drive different is that the weight distribution between the left and the right is equal. This makes the driving experience a lot smoother because most other all-wheel drive systems, they have the weight shifted to one side or the other. But for the Subaru Forester, because it is symmetrical in weight distribution, so too is the driving experience. Next, the Subaru Global Platform. Long story short, Subaru was able to design a chassis that can not only be used in other platforms like the XV or the Impreza, but also it's a lot more rigid for a lot less. So it's lighter, more rigid, and a lot safer. And lastly, Subaru EyeSight. I think this is one of the highlights of what makes this car one of the safest vehicles that you can be in. It allows the Forester to have a lot of safety features. And I think one of my favorites is the adaptive cruise control. When you go inside, the GT Edition has a few things up its sleeve. So for one, I like the two-tone leather interior it has. With the mix of like dark gray and light gray, it gives this sophisticated look without, being like too sportly or overt in design. It gets an updated infotainment system that has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Makes a whole of a difference when it comes to the driving experience of this one. Just connected my phone through the car already. I set up Waze on where I wanted to go, put the destination, played my music. That's simple. Not only that, the updated infotainment system has a 360 view of the car. Okay, so this is the driving impression of the Subaru Forester. I believe that when they were designing this, they were thinking of every possible Subaru owner. This Subaru Forester, it's like the smoothest it's ever been. This may not have turbo, but because of that, when power supplied and power goes up, it's linear, it's predictable for like everybody, whether you're a new driver or an experienced driver. You can see that Subaru's approach this time around isn't trying to win races or, to be the fastest on the rally track. No. Subaru's trying to make the safest car. So basically any Subaru with all-wheel drive. So BRZ is not part of this, but any Subaru that has all-wheel drive, you can be for certain that if the conditions get adverse, like you will have the advantage of all-wheel drive, of like having the best traction as possible. So yeah, don't get me wrong, you're not supposed to be driving, like a madman when the conditions are adverse. But at least in the back of your mind, if anything went wrong, all the stops are pulled off by the Subaru Forester just to make sure that you're as safe as possible. So another aspect I love about the Subaru Forester is the greenhouse effect. So yeah, you can see like it has a nice panoramic sunroof here. The windows are nice and big. And because of the boxer engine sitting low, the front windshield's so huge, you have a really good view of what's in front of you. And a good chunk of driving is based on what you can see and what you can react. The trade-off is a car that's easy to drive. And I like how they designed even the hood of the car. It's so intuitive, engaging on where the corners end. So like when you're trying to weave through traffic, you're trying to fit in, because of the hood, you have a good gauge on where the car's at. So that's the thing about this car. It's really responsive, like on the steering wheel. It's very predictable. And yeah, it may not be turbo, but it can pull. And that's what I like about this car. It's really like if you want it to be enjoyable on the winding roads, like it's reasonably fun to drive. And that's the thing, like people think, oh, you have to be fast to be fun. It's like, no, like if you're responsive and you have enough power, like responsive power, like it's just as fun. With the Subaru Forester, if you can put it at its paces, then it's actually fun to drive in an athletic way. Because of the linear power delivery and responsive steering, it's a joy to drive. Like if I were to describe it, it's reasonably fun. What I really like about the Subaru Forester though is how versatile it is to many different lifestyles. Whether you're someone who works out, whether you're someone who goes biking, surfing, camping, golf, the list goes on like how many hobbies can really utilize this car. It's because of that versatility that this is in the category of if you're only allowed one car in your garage, this should probably be it. Who is this car for? The Subaru Forester as a whole is one of the safest compact SUVs, if not one of the safest vehicles that you can be in right now. And not only that, it's well equipped, it's versatile both in cargo and in passengers. It has a very polished ride, power delivery smooth, the steering response is intuitive. Putting it all together, it's just one smooth experience. But with the GT Edition, Subaru puts that a notch higher. You have to remember, this car came out 2018. So with the GT Edition, they present to you an updated Forester. It comes with the updated infotainment system that makes the driving experience way easier. Thanks to the 360 camera, the rear parking camera, and then my favorite, and also the C-Team's favorite, Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. It's for all of us because we all have different lifestyles. And yet, the Subaru Forester can cater to most, if not all of them. You made it to the end. Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, click on the like button, and click on the bell icon if you want to get notified for more videos like this. And if you're watching this on Facebook, consider liking the Facebook page. It helps us make content like this, and we'll see you soon.